Hi guys, full disclosure, I had not intended on making this particular video today, but today is the first day that I felt halfway human, and I'll explain that a little bit more. And I felt like today would be the right day to talk about it. So for those of you that don't know, I have something called celiac disease. And what that is a immune disorder, immune disease, where my body rejects anything containing gluten or gluten components. Typically that is wheat, rye, barley, or any derivative of those. Also, some people have been having difficulty, and this is up for huge debate in the celiac community, with oats. And that seems to be more the fact that oats are quite often put into the ground and grown after wheat. Farmers change out their crops, and so obviously as they're growing, they're going to pick up components from the soil. So celiacs who have difficulty with oats will go with a organic farmer who doesn't switch out crops and things like that. Today I wanted to talk about the top 5 things that bother me or I have to deal with as a celiac. And I should preface this by saying I am coming off of a horrible, horrible reaction of something, and we don't know what. I've been OCD about my eating ever since I was diagnosed 13 years ago, and I ate nothing different. I did nothing different, so we're not sure what it is. Talking to my gastroenterologist, I'm going to have to start from square one and start writing down every single thing that I eat, every single thing that I put on my face and my hair, everything. Some people are that allergic, and that explains why your girl's looking a little rough today and also feeling a little rough. Physically, I'm just trying to detox my body before I have to start all over again, drinking tons and tons and tons of water. Today's the first day I've been upright. And not just like, when your body ingests gluten or a gluten type substance, the first thing it does is attack your immune system. And so it hits, for me, it manifests in mouth sores, headache, body aches, and then intestinal issues. I don't want to go TMI. So starting with that, number 5, people assume that I eat gluten-free as a choice. There's 3 different categories, okay? There's people with celiac like me who just absolutely cannot have gluten, or they have those side effects that I just explained to you. There's people who are gluten intolerant, who can eat gluten, but they have some reaction to it, usually bloating, maybe headaches, something like that. There's people who choose to be gluten-free because it makes them feel better, because they have noticed a change in themselves physically when they don't ingest gluten, or also because it's a fad right now. And that's typically when you tell people that you are gluten-free, that's what they assume. Oh, you're following the latest fad, or are you going to be keto next, or sugar-free, something like that. Absolutely not. I cannot have gluten. It's not something that I choose to do. It's not something that I can kind of do. I can't fluctuate on this. It's not negotiable. Number 4, I cannot eat at a restaurant unless I know the restaurant, I've been there, I've spoken with either the waiter or the chef, or they have a dedicated gluten-free menu, which means I know that their chefs have been trained. Outback Steakhouse does an amazing job of this, okay? Even though I don't eat steak, they have chicken there that's phenomenal. We also have a Mexican restaurant that we go to where they know me. And they wipe everything down. I have an area where they prepare my food, and while it's a little bit embarrassing for me to be like, they get it, and they will go out of their way. tip pretty well to compensate for it, because that's just how I feel. But it's, I can't do that. I can't go to a restaurant. I also can't partake of goodies that are either brought into the office or stuff that's brought into Sunday school as a treat, things like that. I can't take that chance. And I have stressed so hard about hurting people's feelings, because I've had to bow out of like going out to lunch or to dinner. People will even go out of their way to make gluten-free cookies or gluten-free bread or something like that. And unless they specifically know that how to clean and sanitize everything, I can't have it. I can't take the risk that they made these cookies and they didn't clean their mixer well, or they didn't wipe down their counter, or any of those things. And it's really difficult. Imagine saying to somebody, oh, those look so great, but did you run your egg beaters through the dishwasher so they got to that sanitation degree? Or did you wipe down your counter? Or, are you a slob? Those kinds of things. And it's awkward for me as a person, even though I'm looking out for my best health. And I don't want another week like I just came off of. Number 3, people, I'm sure they're well-meaning, always seem to know better. My cousin's sister's dog sitter's best friend's ex-husband had celiac, and they went on an all-rice diet for 2 weeks, and now they don't have celiac anymore. Hallelujah. Don't you think that if there was a cure for this, we would have found it? The cure for celiac is not to have gluten. That's the cure, the treatment, the everything. And although I know this is all very well intentioned, it's aggravating, because if you don't have it, if you haven't been through it, if you don't know what it's like to walk up and down a grocery store. When I was diagnosed 13 years ago, honestly, the first trip I made to the grocery store, I cried. I was in there for maybe 5 minutes, and I had to leave because there was nothing listed. And you would try to read the ingredients and, cross-referencing, and that's kind of when Dave started taking over the cooking, because it was too hard for me. Now, everything is certified gluten-free, and they list out all of the ingredients, and which is phenomenal for someone like me. But people who think that they know how to cure celiac disease or how to treat it or any of those things, as well-meaning as I would like to think they are, I'm going to stick with my doctor's advice and how I feel. I almost feel like it's kind of like saying to somebody who's suffering from late-stage lung cancer, I have a friend who vapes this stuff, and now they don't have lung cancer anymore, so you can have a cigarette. It doesn't work that way. It's a disease. It can be a terminal disease if you consistently ignore it and continue to poison your body. You shut down your immune system, and that's not what I'm trying to do here at all. I'm sorry if I sound a little salty. Can you tell? Can you tell I've been a little storing this up a little bit, a little ticked off? Yeah, I'm a little salty. Number 2, watching every single thing that I put into my mouth. And by this last episode I had, it could come down to also cosmetics and shampoo and things. We have to see. We don't know what caused this last reaction. So this can be like even just grabbing a mint. I have a bowl of mints on my desk that people come by and grab. I can't have those mints. So I have to be very, very mindful of everything, right down to chapstick, or that's a brand, lip balm that I use. Any of those things, I have to be very mindful. I cannot even take communion at my church anymore. They have gluten-free wafers, which is, very progressive. But having served on Altar Guild, I saw how those were handled. I saw how they were cross-contaminated. I've seen pastors not follow the protocol on how those are supposed to be distributed. And even that little tiny bit of cross-contamination can give me a reaction. I have to be so hyper alert of everything that it can almost cause a little bit of paranoia. It can, really throw a monkey wrench in your plans. Like, I can't just pack a picnic lunch and go somewhere. We can't just take a road trip and go. We have to be very mindful of me being able to find things to eat. That said, it's so much better than it used to be. So much better than it used to be. And there are dedicated gluten-free aisles now that were never there before. But I do, and this is a personal responsibility. It's something that you have to take very seriously. Every single thing. Yeah, right down to those little candies, right down to throwing a mint in your mouth, chewing gum, any of those things, you have to be careful about. And finally, the number one thing about this disease and dealing with it is that I feel like crap. When I get glutenized, I feel awful. The last few days I've been dealing with this, I've had probably in the top 3 headaches that I've ever had in my life. I've been achy. I've been dealing with intestinal issues. I've been not nice at all to my family. Yeah, shouts out to my husband because he has dealt with it a lot. It's just, you just feel like, imagine the worst flu that you've ever had, amplified times however many days that I was down and out. And the fact that I absolutely could not take off of work because of some things that were going on, it just made it that much worse. You just don't understand what somebody's going through unless you've been through it. And that's not to take away from anything that other people go through in dealing with, allergies or whatever in their own lives. But this is my own personal feeling and my own personal viewpoint, that until you've gone through it, you just don't get it. And that kind of leads me to a conclusion of, we are all going through things that the other person or the other people in your life don't know about. And I hope that everybody has somebody that they can confide in, or that they can tell, hey, this is what's going on, or somebody, that will take care of them, like my sweet husband has. But we just don't know, and we can't judge. I was forcing myself to take a couple walks yesterday and just try to get those steps in, and which was stupid. But the security guard said to me, oh, I'm moving a little slow. Did you have a rough night? A little too much in it? And I'm just like, you have no idea what I'm going through right now. And the fact that, like, I could barely even at her to get back to my desk. We are all going through something, whether it be physical, mental, spiritual, any of those things. And it's not my right or your right to judge how somebody should handle that. I did tell my boss what was happening, just because I was up and down quite a bit, and I'm incredibly understanding. I think that if we were more accepting of the fact that everybody has something going on that they might not have shared with you, that we would go a long way to be more understanding and being more, empathetic to people. And I'm not going to walk around with a shirt that says, hey, I have celiac disease, do not feed gluten, although those are out and they're kind of funny. But, everybody has stuff, whether it be another disease, whether it be some anxiety, or whether it be any of those. It's just, we need to be more understanding of one another and battles that are going on that we know nothing about. And that's kind of what brings me every single time as I close this to what I say to you guys. And, let's be kind to one another always. Thanks. Bye.